Hi, this is Quinn James, and I am extremely jacked up from game night because I drank an entire Mountain Dew Kickstart um, to get me through game night, and now I am all hyped up on caffeine on a Friday night, and so I am going to be playing at least one friend of mine and possibly two. I may make this a double upload tonight, uh, but right now I'm playing my friend Brian Leavitt. Super hyped to be playing him. Not quite so hyped about this rack. Um, Trying to see if I have a J5. You know what? I do. I have Jura. This is a word. Um, for 40, it does leave AA. Um, and I'm having a hard time. This isn't clearing like it's supposed to. I'm not sure why. Oh, there we go. All right. So I'm just gonna play that. I really wish this was a word, but it's only with an H. So yeah, this is correct. Okay, so this is and I don't think this takes an S. I'm not 100% on that, but I think it's like a an interjection or something. But I've been wrong about that before, so I wouldn't stake my life on it. But I don't think it takes an S. So this is going to give me Aligarta if he gives me a T. Uh, it is spelled like that, and that means an alligator. If it doesn't, I've got a few options. I can play Jagra here. Um, I can fish, although Grail isn't a great thing to fish to. The score is okay. It's me, Jag, and Jai, and Jar over to the right. Keeping a bunch of things. Rail might actually be almost as good as Grail, so I could play Aga somewhere, but there's no real great place to play Aga right now. I think this is a word. I know it's good with GH. So that could be a thing. Leave AR, which is good and balanced and above average. Keeps the board pretty open. Not sure it's better than this. And really, both of those plays seem inferior to Jagra. So if Brian plays up here and doesn't give me anything back, doesn't give me a T, then I don't really know. I don't want to be playing something like this, or... Alright. So I'm not going to get my T, but I'm not going to get this J interfered with either. I think this is good now. Didn't spell it right. And that's sort of worth considering, but not really. I think Jagra is just it. So this is going to give me oligemia here, and also here, and also here, which is 3 spots, but they could all be blocked pretty easily with a play anywhere in this quadrant. So I got to keep looking for stuff. Right now I'm not seeing any other 8s or 7s that this makes. Don't think there's any point looking for double doubles through the eye, because if I have a double double, then I also have oligemia in one of the 2 positions. one of the three, but one of, logically at least one of the two in this that goes through this I, at least. Is this the word? I know it's good with a Y. I'm not sure I'd stake my life on that being good. Especially when it's almost as good as this. Or this is almost as good as that, and I know it's a word. So I don't know if I really need to be looking at overlaps, because I'll have oligemia if I have an overlap all the way over here, but I don't think I have one anyway, because there's no consonant that goes under this I. I was looking, I don't think there's even, like, a zo. I don't think there's even a two vowel thing that goes here. Oh, no, yeah. I hope I don't have to play that. That does remind me I do have glioma on this rack. Doesn't really go anywhere right now. This is kind of hard for me to do anything because only this A can go here, and then I gotta go AE or AO. And I don't think I have anything better than May that goes up there. So Brian is a really old friend of mine. The last Nationals that I went to was Nationals 2013 in Las Vegas. Brian and I were on the same trivia team together. And he came up with the name of the trivia team, which was spelled like this. Colon, parentheses, smiley face. We pronounced it smiley face. We insisted the pronunciation was smiley face. And the MC of the trivia would pronounce it colon parentheses, was confused at first, and Brian yelled out smiley face, and then it became a running gag that every time he would say colon parentheses, and we would all yell out smiley face, and so that was a lot of fun. But we got second, and the only puzzle this turn is me trying to figure out whether I have a double 9 through this IN. And I will give a cursory look at that. Amylogene, glio, many. Legomane. I don't think I do. So I'll just play oligemia in the spot that remains to me. And draw the Q. So that goes down a couple places. Here, here. This is barely worth it, probably. Probably should just exchange, keep ELS or something instead of playing that. Well, maybe. I'm trying to fit. Would it really be 2 turns away from bingo? I think Vilos is a word. Question is, how sure am I of that? How sure am I of the other things that I could draw with vowels, like I think levulos might be good, but I'm not sure of that. Obviously volleys is good. This isn't. The 7 is with this is lose, which is not worth playing. One slight weakness in my game is sometimes some of the more exotic ULIS keywords I miss, so I'll spend a little extra time making sure I'm not missing that. I'm not missing a sink play. There's no C or about. I'm not missing feek. I'm not missing cough anywhere. That's impossible. No U's on this board. I think it's either QI or exchange, and I mean, the board is kind of... I could actually think about an exchange here, because I'm worried about, I guess, these two spots a little bit. OX could go down. A double-double could go down. Mog really tells me relatively little, but it suggests probably a slightly stronger than average rack. It could be anything from double blanks to trash, like 4 consonants. Because it's strictly better than any other place that you'd play Mog off. So yeah, it's just key versus exchange, and there is 2 blanks out. Oh, you know what? There's also gloves for 33. That draws some extra tiles, gets me some shots at these blanks. Does open the board wide open, but honestly, this board is not closed right now. It looks kind of closed when you just sort of glance at it, but there's these hotspots, there's Jagra hook, there's underlaps under here, there's a double spot, there's 50 point X spots, and there's double spot, and there's an S hook. This is not a closed board, so might as well play gloves, I think, and just try and draw, because there's so many things that can be better. Like if I get a cat draw or something that will actually, like whatever, something that will actually let me score decently with this cue, that'll be really good, and I'll score some extra points. So I think gloves is actually the play here. I do get a blank. No U to go with my cue. This is probably not worth doing. Actually, not that bad, but I'll keep looking. Yeah, I don't know if this is better than this. What's a blank worth? 28 or so points on average. And this is 26 more, but also sheds a duplicate T. This is really close. If it just comes down to those 2 plays. And I think I might actually give a slight edge to playing this blank off. One downside is that it actually lets you hit this spot with axe, because aga is good, but ga is not. So right now you can only hit this with like ox, or something like, or like a 3-top play like nix, fix, tix, or like an ux play. Tux, things like that. But you can't hit it with an A or an E. Actually, Cot would let you hit this with both an E and an A, because age and aga are good. However, it would also stop you from hitting it with an I or a U. So I think that's kind of a wash. I was really... Well, it's not quite a wash, but it's not as much of a problem as I thought when I first looked at it. Like, it's almost a wash. Because you would rather give up, I, O, and U. You would rather give up I and U versus A and E. Because there's less I's and U's out. Your opponent's more likely to keep an A&E, to hold an A&E. But it's not like you're suddenly making it accessible to 4 vowels when it was previously accessible only to 3 or 2. It's not like you're suddenly making it like super awesome. I guess it is true that Ax and X are easier to get down than like Tux and Tix, though. So yeah, that's and yeah, he's telling me he's rusty because he's just played a phony. The good news is that that proves to me he doesn't have the X, and so I can challenge this and play cat in the full knowledge that I'm not going to get X bombed this turn. Okay, so this is ethical and I think alethic. Pertaining to truth, I think that's good. Yeah, it does get hit for 43. I don't care about. I honestly don't care. That's fine. Because like woes would have gone down here for like 35-ish anyway. If I just actually more like 40 if I just drop the Q down. So it's only I'm only giving him like a couple of extra points on that. I don't think ethical takes an S, so I have to go see if I have a bingo here. With a G would be take latch and Lichgate. There's no open G here. Unless Oligemial is good and I could play take latch here, but I'm not really feeling that. Through an N would be chatline channel and ethnical. There's no N available. Let me just settle down and look at this. With this one, I keep thinking like Archilt, like Archilt Steppe, but that's spelled with a Y anyway. And it's not a word, it's a place in Final Fantasy 13. This is annoying me because I really think I have a bingo, and I'm going to be annoyed if ethicals is good, but I just have no idea. Oh, and Brian's disconnected briefly, but is back now, which has given me some extra clock time randomly. I'll take it. Because I'm still sitting here trying to figure out if I have a bingo. This is horrible. And I don't want to give it, because yesterday I spent 4 minutes looking for Cardinal before I found it. And Martin just left, so I don't know if he's going to play me or not. Need to see what he said on Facebook. Okay, so if I'm thinking I don't have a bingo. So if I don't have a bingo, what are my options? Do I want to close? This is tempting. Or this even. Because all the E's out. But there are 5 A's. How many E's are out? 8. So it's not that E biased. There's both A and E lanes, though the E lane is slightly superior. This is hard to overlap because I think Zoot is the only thing that I have. I'm not even no. Yeah, it's not going to work anyway. Wonder if I have something that slots the C or the H on this type of tile. Oh, I have ethical here for 40. It does blow up the rack, and it's a good rack, so I don't know. Do I want to do this? I actually do want to do this. Still a blank out, race to it. I'm up by 102. I'll be up by 142 after this. I want to race to the end of the game. Yeah, I will play ethical for 40. And I may find out during the course of this game whether ethical takes an S. Because that is a really juicy S hook if it gets taken. Though I know that Brian didn't leave one because he left raid after so. Unfortunately, this is just an unclosable board. So I could easily get hit with a pretty big bingo right now. Or I could not. Raid is hardly a guarantee to bingo. It's maybe like 50% to bingo, but or maybe slightly above. But Brian isn't going to know all the bingos that you can draw to rate. Oh, and I get hit by this X. Not what I was expecting to happen. So yeah, EH or AH there would have actually saved me quite a few points if I had played that. I'm wondering if I have something here that's like a side. Pesticide. I'm not sure if femicide is a word. What are the side plays? Suicide, obviously. Deicide. Regicide. I don't know if there's going to be an inside. How can I score here and play off at least 2 eyes? I don't necessarily need to keep in a really nice rack if I can do those 2 things. Just something reasonably balanced, and if I can close the board down a little bit, that's a benefit too, or play off a lot of tiles. Iridic actually accomplishes all of those things. I can get hit through this C, but that's less of a big deal than bingo. And with at least RAT on his rack and probably keeping something more balanced. There's a good chance I actually will get hit with a bingo right after this X-bomb, so... And I'd love to block this S lane too, but it's just not worth it for the points. This R double-double is a big deal. I guess I could look at going through this A to knock out the S spot too. Because if ethical doesn't take an S, there really is only one. Play something like Candy. What is it? Candy, Canaide, Decani. And maybe one other. But I want to play off two eyes. Oh, Asinine. But you can overlap this both ways, so that's actually not very good. If I could do something that ends with a C here, that'd be better. This S hook isn't super easy to hit because it's not at the end. If I don't find a good block within the next 30 seconds or so, I might just play Iridic. Candy really isn't good enough. Yeah, I'm just playing Iridic. Ooh, this gives me Ebeniste right here. Does it give me anything else? Tensible. Not nearly as good. There's going to be very little, even if I can bring it to this S, it's not going to be that much better than Ebeniste. So I think I'm just going to slam down Ebeniste. Challenges, it's good. He might whine. That's fine. So he knows if he whines, everybody will see it. Wonder if he even understands Ta. It's I just started saying that thanks to Apterus, because it was that's how British people say thanks to a nice or whatever. It's slightly easier to type than TY. I think this is good. I'm not sure what else I would be confusing it with. My other plays seem much worse. Oh wait, I know this is good. Do I know that? I think this was added. If it comes off, it's not really a big deal. I just want to kind of push things. I don't want to play layup because layup slots that S, and everything else is just super awful. So I'm playing these really low playability fives. Well, Cuppy is really low playability. Cuppa wouldn't be so low playability, but I haven't really... If it's in, it's new, and I haven't really studied the new fives to complete exhaustion like I have the old fives. I'm liking it, though. I'm liking this word. So what do I have if this stays? Assuming this stays. Guess I'm gonna wanna. Well, do I really care about Ebony's? If I can get a 5 that ends with this Y, then that would be nice, but... Oh no, what I do care about is this S, so yeah, that's why I was looking at this. Several different ways to block this S, some of them better than others. This is not what I would consider a particularly good way to block that S, but it's a way. He blocked his own S. And now do I want to try and take that, or do I want to play something like Leap or something and just try and hasten the end of the... Well, I'm going to get... Well, am I going to get hammered by Bleep? The worst thing that can actually go here is a D. I still don't think it's worth it because this opens another spot here, and then this O stays open. This might necessitate something like Boilas. Well, I'm going to see whether there's anything I can play that's really huge over here. I don't think so. I think this is just a distraction lane. I'm not loving losing this S because it could really help give me a lot of spread in the end game with Jagra's plays. Or I could try and cash this, but there's nothing. This is horrible because of base hook. There's not a lot I can... This score is pretty... this is not good, unfortunately. Oh, this is, actually. And I have the case S. So this actually might be nice. I can set up my S here to score with a something SY play. Partially take out a couple of lanes. Just pad spread, I think this is the play. And that's not what I wanted to draw to that. I don't think this actually makes anything to that with this. I really don't. And of course it's a terribly obvious setup. You know, Brian's going to see exactly what I'm doing here. Still, that's so much sweet equity right there. Like, you just love, like, I just love making, like, really clever plays like that. It's hard to turn down in this situation. It doesn't matter what I do, so I might as well. I wonder if Martin's watching this and waiting for it to be over. He's not. somebody named Abdullah is though. He might just be watching my buddy list. This is probably the luckiest I've gotten in one of these games so far. Rusty or not, Brian is definitely more than capable of beating me. As he's definitely demonstrated over the years. And Martin is as well. Tiles just happen to really go my way this game. And he's having internet connection troubles, which is unfortunate. I have this for some points. If I just want to run up the points. This isn't really disturbing these really brief disconnects are not really disturbing the stream. I'm okay with them. And I guess so that I don't have Martin waiting. What I might do is just review both games. See what I missed for both games after after Martin's game. And I might be able to run through them really quick. It's not a particularly good fish. It doesn't. Vag does not take any back hooks, so or vag, I don't, whatever. So yeah, I think I'm probably gonna end up just playing Looney here. It's not particularly fun. But I don't want to play use and be stuck with no cons and be stuck with like. Well, it's not so much no consonants. It's just like. Well, an NRY is a few points worse than NRSY, but it's mostly just that I am not doing any blocking work, and I don't want to make things that easy for Brian. So I'm just gonna play Looney and do some blocking work. Because this O is like the best, easily the best bingo lane. And if I just leave it open, then a bingo is just, it's guaranteed coming down. Actually, Vag helps me because then I don't have to worry about opening anything if when I play like Rosie or Nosy or whatever I do up here. Then otherwise I'd have to worry about that opening this. This can actually come down if I want to save this S for some reason, which I don't know why I would, but it actually, well, it might actually make it a little bit easier for me to go out if I play like a dry, because then I'll have plays to this S. But the problem is, like, with sitting with a blank, Brian's either gonna give up on bingoing and take this next turn, and take this turn, or he'll take it next turn because he'll just make this blank an S, or play something that through this E that slots a K here. So if I really want to take Rosie/Nosy, then I probably want to take it now, like the next turn that I get to. But if I don't get to, then a dry is at least a good backup. So I think the idea of playing a dry to keep you know, Noser or whatever in reserve is a silly idea, because I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to get a chance to play a dry and just sort of chill out and not worry about that spot getting taken, because it will just get taken. There's no sequence of plays where, okay, I guess a one-tile fish and then a dry and then another one-tile fish with one in the bag, and then Noser or whatever could happen, but then that still wouldn't be an outplay anyway. So It's a sequence of plays that could happen, but I don't necessarily anticipate that. I have this, I guess. If I play nosy, well, there'll still be bingos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it will still be possible to bingo, and I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Both these P's as well, but it's not. It's unlikely, and they'll be low value bingos anyway. I don't have to be worried about them in any way. And the dry gets blocked anyway, so I have to play nosy or rosy, which look equivalent. I guess nosy is airy is slightly better than Annie, slightly more flexible. So I guess I'll play nosy. Do I have an? Yes, I do have an outplay. It's Yuri Ace right here. Do I have another one? Not likely. Okay, and I know Martin's waiting on me, but I'll run really fast. Really, really fast to see what I missed. Ethical does take an S. Cuppy is good. I didn't miss too much. Okay, so this has been Quinn James, and I'll see you soon because I think I'm just about to play Martin.